But then again, there's a saying that says gameplay is king. Gameplay is king. And that's where we go back to the games of service, where the gameplay is fun, and then the carrot, where these games are made to, these people are making money. They want you to get you as close to possibly either addicted or as close to it as possible.
Right.
Okay? So they can keep making money. Now, it's an entertaining medium, just like everything, fantasy football, and watching movies, anything.
Right.
It is what it is. Like, you have to be, disciplined and take care of your prioritize, before you get into it. The only thing I would say about video games, the pro, we'll get to the pros later. One of the cons is it's very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch Godfather 2, 3 hours. That's like one session, right? Average short games like 15 to 25 hours. It gives you bang for your buck because you probably bought the game brand new. Right now, 60. They're gonna raise the price up to 70.
15. I would honestly say 15 to 20 hours is short end.
Short.
Like when you look at let's say
short,
The Last of Us 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that was 25 to 40 hours of gameplay. 25 to 40 hours, that's almost 2 full days.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and you play nonstop, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was long for Last of Us 2.
Right. I know the first game wasn't that long, was it?
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So that's the thing about games as a service. You have the, I would argue, most bang for your buck. MMORPGs, freaking wow. World of Warcraft. Like, people talk about Fortnite. Fortnite was big. WoW was just as big or even bigger, I'd argue.
Oh, 100% bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll tell you this.
Oh, yeah.
Fortnite is going to die one day.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft has been around for over 15 years.
Mm.
And it's still massive.
Yeah.
It's not going to die either. As long as they keep putting time into it, it will never die.
Yeah, I think everything is always going to have a peak, and then obviously you're going to dive back down. WoW, obviously, go ahead.
Bro, the peak was this high. It dropped down like this much, and now it's just staying.
Yeah.
Bro, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like, so the thing about me is, I'm like what you call all-around gamer. Like, I don't want to put my eggs all in one basket, and that's what you have to do to play these part-time MMORPGs, baby. They're basically a part-time job almost, like. And the thing is, the difference is, especially when you get a significant other, you want to spend time with them, spend time with family, etc., etc. It's just, time. It's all about time. So when you play an MMORPG, it's time sensitive. When I play a single player game, I could pause it, do my thing, come back to it, etc., etc. When you play MMORPG, bro,
there is no pause.
My boy just had a lot of friction with like one of his, with his significant other, bro, because he was like, yeah, babe. Okay, well, I'm gonna hang out with you, like, around 7 or 8, whatever. Like, he didn't say this out loud, but he was thinking, yeah, we'll hang out, we'll watch this, whatever. But at 9, I'm about to get on, I had to do this raid. You know what I'm saying? And like, he was playing the classic WoW.
Okay.
Yeah, he was playing classic WoW. And it caused a lot of friction, man.
It can happen.
Because then, even if you do plan it out that way, depending on how your significant other sees it, she could be like, well, what if I want to do something at night? Are you going to pick me over the video game? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's where it gets tricky with these games of service.
Right.
They could go on forever, which is good and bad. It has its pro and its con.
It's all about control. You gotta be able to stay in control.
Right.
Always.
And then the other great aspect about those games, your favorite genres, is playing with your friends.
Oh,
and that's one of the biggest pros of video games.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting older. Back in the day, go to a basketball court. That's probably like one of those things where you basically, you're on cue.
Right.
Go with your team.
Yep.
Play pickup basketball. When we were in school, we were in PE, playing games or whatever. That competitive drive. When you get older, you can't, you could you could use that energy in other more productive places like business and
a lot of people do
better yourself. But a lot of people, you could literally be like playing chess, who does that anymore? It's not a face to face. Not saying that that's bad.
Right.
It's a great game, but it's
just not realistic.
It's a digital. Especially with the pandemic nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You're not from here.
No.
You know what I'm saying? How do you stay connected with your boys?
That's it. Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have the pandemic, dude. It's like and guys, you know, we can't be talking for 5 years. The new WoW expansion comes out. I hit you up, and you'll be like, "Yo, what's up? Blah blah blah. Yo, when do we get on? Yo, this weekend at 9. Let's go.
Boom.
Easy, done. Like I don't even care. I haven't talked to you for 5 years. You know, it's just how we are, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like one of the best feelings is playing online with your boys, bro.
And it's so much fun too. And like you had said, Danny, you know, it's interesting because, yeah, like you had said, even though you might not see somebody for 5 years, you might end up talking to them on Discord or on Steam chat, whatever. And you might end up like learning stuff about them and having real conversations about life.
And a lot of times
while you're playing the game, you know.
Honestly, that's exactly what happens. Like you learn the new mechanics, you learn this, and then you start going into auto mode, and then you start talking about everything else. You just start catching up. You start shooting the ish, you know. So that's probably one of the biggest pros in video games. It's kind of keeping in touch with your friends, okay, and then the other aspect is if you there's no other. It's good. It's when I don't know, you haven't been into fighting games too much, right?
No, I like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But I don't really like Street Fighter or like stuff like that, which is funny because my brother was kind of big into those as a kid.
Yeah.
So I think they might have got like forced down my throat a little bit. Yeah. So I was like, yeah.
So fighting games, man, there's no like when you dominate somebody and you know like do you do PvP WoW?
Oh yeah. No better feeling when you just trash somebody.
Bro. Or what I love is you see a pattern tendencies and you just call them out. Like you're like bait. You know he's gonna do something to you and you just counter him like nasty like that right there. So that only happens. You can apply that in sports, whatever. As you get older, probably not playing as much sports.
Right.
You can still do that in Street Fighter. You can still do it in Smash. You can still do that in any of the we call it fighting games, right? One of the most iconic games for me, Super Smash Brothers.
Of course.
You know,
that's a cult classic.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a game that will never die.
Never. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
But you want to know what game started that whole thing? Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
The first Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And thank God it survived. Seriously.
Absolutely.
Thank God it survived. Because you remember how it was getting nuked there for a while?
Yeah.
Because Sub-Zero was ripping somebody's spine out of their
body.
Right.
Yeah. So I recommend two. I think they're on Netflix. There's one anime there that it's called High Score Girl. I saw it. I'm like, there's no.
Oh, talking about anime?
Well, it pertains to video games.
Overlord.
Yeah. I'll just get it later. So there's this anime on Netflix called High Score Girl. It basically is about video games and the fighting game community. The fighting game community is anybody that plays a fighting game, you're part of the fighting game community. Right. Especially as far as like if you go to events, tournaments, things like that. FGC for short. But anywho, so this anime High Score Girl does a pretty good job of dropping you into how it all originated as far as the fighting game community and fighting games. The most important game is Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
2.
right.
Yeah.
Is that actually that came out on?
So it came out on Super Nintendo. It came out to a bunch of systems. It came out, but just like we were talking about, the computer ended up, turning into the video game console, the original video game console.
Right.
And that's where like Doom and all these games came out. So there's two shows, High Score Girl, and then there's another documentary called High Score. I don't know what's up with these Netflix always like naming these things like High Score. But anyway, High Score Girl is an anime that I thought I'd never watched. I saw it, a little annoying with the main characters, things like that, but overall it gives you a really good feeling of how it was to grow up in the late 80s, early 90s. If you were a video gamer.
Which was the peak. That's where it all started.
Yeah, that's where it all started. So the arcade scene. Right now, you go online if you're fighting game
Such
anything.
a toxic community nowadays, bro.
But you know what? It kind of like the difference is you're playing against somebody that's next to you. How nowadays it's real easy on Twitter to be tough.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? It's real easy to be online, start talking that smack. This dude next to you looking like you when I'm playing you, I ain't gonna say nothing, right? So I'm gonna slap up. But that's the thing about the arcade scene, and you did have those people that put tantrums just because like they were, they had a lot of passion.
Sure.
And stuff like that, but that's the thing, man. So what the anime talks about, like going to an arcade machine, and literally you would put a quarter. You'd be in line, but you'd put a quarter next to like quarter. So, oh, that's my quarter.
What?
Yes, and then like whatever, if the winner stays, loser gets out next.
That's
like that,
so cool.
Yeah. So Street Fighter 2 is probably like you give the biggest credit as far as the most important like fighting game,
Right.
like of all time. It was so ridiculous. So basically, computers became cabinets, arcade machines,
Right.
aka arcade machines. And then Capcom is the gaming company that made Street Fighter, and there was such high demand that people were basically like making like copycats of their cabinet of their
Right.
arcade machines.
Yup.
They were getting paid in advance. People wouldn't even have their arcade machines yet, and Capcom would receive their money. Like you like pre-order their arcade. It was ridiculous.
That's revolutionary.
Yeah, because you think about a quarter, and then like all these like gas stations, like all these places would want to have an arcade machine.
Right.
But it all started from Street Fighter 2, and then right there came the Mortal Kombat. Like right there, Mortal Kombat wanted to be like the Western company making the fighting game, and the gory, just to Americanized.
Yep.
And there was a lot of deviations from Street Fighter 2, but that was kind of like the main game. But the pro, hang out with friends, and then that competitive fire where like and the thing about fighting games where you have to practice, man. And again, I equate it to playing an instrument. It's a very unique medium where you can be competitive at something that requires chess, mental. There's no dexterity to it. Okay. Other things, more physical, right? You need skill, but dude, if you're playing basketball, you're 5'5", you're not making it to the top.
You're in trouble.
The coolest thing about video games is no matter your height, no matter there's people with disabilities. There's this dude playing Street Fighter. I forgot what they call him. I think he either plays with like a wheel, bro, like a driving wheel or something, because you could like customize the controls.
Wow.
Or like an arcade stick, things like that.
Right.
Like he has like disabilities, and you could be, if you really want to, you want to put in the time, you could be one of the best at whatever game you pick or genre. That's the coolest things I think about video games. That there's no boundaries as long as you have the time and the passion and the effort that you want to put into it, and you could be the very best or one of the very best, or you can make money off of it if you start early enough and you play it right.
Right, and that's the thing. Now you can make money off it.
Yeah, right, and that's
now
the
you can
difference.
make money off it.
Before and after. But basically, fighting games is like one of my favorite genres, I would say. It's just nowadays I don't have the time for it as much as I used to. And those could also be infinite, right?
Definitely.
You could play a fighting game for...
If you have the headspace to do it.
Yeah, 5 hours, or you could be a master at it, or not even. You could just be very good and have fun, and play for 30 hours, 100 hours, 1,000 hours. And then the next one's gonna come out, and guess what? The next one's gonna come out, and then the next one's gonna come out, and you always have to be like adapting and oh man, the new Guilty Gear is gonna come out.
Right.
Which it is, like it's coming out right around the corner. Oh, let's see what changes they made this time. And then now the difference between back then and now is somebody that would have been broken back then you didn't have an update to do. You could have nerfed this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, and same thing with the genre that Colin likes, games as a service, MMORPGs. They're constantly updating it, nerfing, buffing, making certain things better or worse to kind of even the playing field, balance things out. Back in arcade games,
that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, if this dude's broken, if this guy's OD,
that's it.
Hold that L, cause you're getting your face smashed in.
That's it.
But yeah, man, it's definitely a very unique, entertaining medium, and it hooks you, and you gotta be careful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Yep.
Cause it hooks you. But what other genres do you like, man?
So for me, I also like zombies. I like first-person shooters a lot.
Let's go. Where is it?
I like zombies a lot. Dying Light.
Dying Light.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was big for me because again, My brother, I can thank him. You know,
Big influence.
Growing up, I always watched him play all the Resident Evil games ever since the Crimson Heads in Resident Evil 1
Got it.
to Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 to Nemesis in Resident Evil 3
Yep.
to Resident Evil 4, you know, breaking the whole genre open with it actually being an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter where you actually had control and there was actually dodge mechanics, a knife button, right, things like that. And then I really jumped into the game Resident Evil 5.
Right.
I put thousands of hours into it.
Oh yeah, you're one of those, huh?
Yes.
Nice.
And what's so crazy is that the game, I played it so much that it stopped scaring me. Because like when I first played through it, I was scared the whole time. I was like terrified.
Right.
And then Resident Evil 6, that game was good.
Yeah.
That game was different too, right? Again,
Yeah.
it branched out. But yeah, shooters, and especially shooters with zombies involved.
Yeah, that's your thing.
That's-
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead.
So
That's one of my favorite games of all time.
Right, because you got the social aspect. So it's like playing, you know, and does it have the quality of a Resident Evil game? No, but you have the social aspect where you can play with the boys.
Yep.
And it's, I forgot what it's called, man. There's a specific name for those type of games, but as far as like, there's waves and waves and waves, and you want to go to the highest. Is that how it works? Where you want to keep going further and further, see how far you could get?
Not necessarily. So there is a survival mode there.
Survival
but
mode,
it's
that's
mostly just a campaign mode. So
Oh,
it's
really?
just-
Oh,
you just
okay.
pick a story, and because you see it on my YouTube channel, you pick a
Gotcha.
story and you run through that story.
Oh.
And so that's more or less what Left 4 Dead is.
Got
But
it.
they do have like a survival mode where you try to hold out per se,
Gotcha.
which is fun, but that's hard. That wasn't really my thing.
Got
But
it.
the campaign mode,
Got
it's
it.
so much fun because every time it was different. It's the same campaign and it looks the same, but the zombies are in different places. The spawns are different.
Yeah.
People you see in different
Yep.
places, it's all gonna be different.
There's
So-
a word for that. I forgot, but yeah, it's but yeah, that keeps you on your toes, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
Keep things from getting more boring. Yeah, so the genres and that blew up a lot. Yeah, so how much did you get into into WoW? How much did you get into it?
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
Bad.
yeah.
So bad. I played. I'm trying to think.
At what age? Would you
Um,
play with your brother? Third question.
well, yeah. When he was playing,
Okay.
he was playing big in college. So I was like in 7th grade.
Mm.
So I played a fair amount then. But what he would do is he would go to work during the day, and then I would
And you
play.
would be
Yeah.
you'd be.
And then he would get home from work, and I'd be like, "All right, I'm logging off now," and then
Okay,
I'll
okay.
scamper out of it. Right? That's how I would do it.
Gotcha. I thought you were gonna say that he would make you grind for him.
No. I was playing my own character.
Okay.
I
I was like,
would always play a
bro.
hunter too. I always play a hunter
Okay.
because they were the easiest to play.
Got it.
But I didn't get into World of Warcraft personally until I got my PC. And the second because I got my PC because I wanted to play World of Warcraft. I kid you not. So
Gotcha.
got my PC like 5 years back, and I put I think maybe 900 to 1,000 hours in.
Yeah, I believe it.
In
yeah.
about 4 years.
Yeah,
Got like
between 4 years is not too bad.
got like 7 max characters.
Wow.
Yeah, the goal is to try to get a max character
Got
of every class. So,
Got it.
but Danny, real quick, because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Give me another genre that you go for outside of like story based or very story driven games per se.
You know what's funny, man? I have 2 that I didn't think I would like, and now they're one of my favorites.
Okay.
One is tactical RPGs. It's kind of like, so in Super Smash Brothers you have Marth and Roy, the swordsmen.
Right. Yeah.
Japanese swordsmen.
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem Kingdom. Yep.
So we were all wondering where are these guys from, because those games didn't come out in the West. They didn't come out in the US, only in Japan. I played the first one in GameCube, and I got I'm like, why this game looks so bad graphically? I'm like, why would he even make this game on this? I would understand on handheld. Like, why would he make it on console? Graphics look horrible. But then once you start the tactical part, and then you start having to make a party, and then you're like, oh man, you know what? I could only bring 8 people out in this field. Guess what? Perfect analogy for sports, right? You got a basketball team. Number 1 seed, LeBron, AD, boom, boom, boom. When you start coming down, it's like, do I leave Rondo in, or do I put Kuzma?
Yep.
And then that, or like building your team, and then like tactically how the feeling of like when you would make a good move or prediction. Those games are hard, man. So there's a bunch of games of that genre.
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy
That's
Tactics.
the classic.
It is, and you know what? I haven't
That
played
is
it.
the classic.
It's one of the best games. Like,
Of all time.
Of all time, yeah.
The Final Fantasy series, I would say, is one of the first ones where it was
Yeah.
actually strategy-based gameplay.
Right.
It was turn-taking,
Right.
right? And you had a party, right? And you
Right.
had to make decisions,
Exactly.
potions, things of that nature to attack a monster's weak point.
100%. Yeah. And then Final Fantasy Tactics is the first one that kind of did the Fire Emblem route.
Yeah.
And Fire Emblem goes back, man. If you look back into history, they go back. 19. I don't know, man. Like I don't even know.
I
We
think
have to
the
look
late
it up.
80s, early 90s, I think.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. That sounds about right. And then, so that's one of my favorite genres. There's basically my favorite one that came out of that is called something Super Robot Wars. So basically, this is only made in Japan, and it's a all-star of basically mechs, super nigga
okay.
stuff. So everybody knows Gundams.
Of course.
So think of, Gundams is like you have this Gundam anime and you have this Gundam anime, and they're not really connected. Some are, there's like this, but some are like different. So it would take, it's basically the Super Smash Brothers effect, so you would have a merging
Okay.
of universes, and then you would have like a Fire Emblem team of Gundams.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
disgusting, bro. It's
That's
sick.
dope.
Yeah. So, and then the thing is, when you would attack with Fire Emblem, it's just like a sword hit.
Right.
Jump back, whatever, pretty boring. This is like, you would have like certain attacks, and then as you start fighting, you get more willpower. As you get more willpower, you start unlocking more attacks.
Oh.
Until like weakest to strongest.
Right.
And then the ultimate attack is like literally like every time you attack, it's a movie. You can skip it, like not a movie, but a little cutscene of like this. Like
That's really cool.
it looks dope. Like it's not just a cut, So and then it goes back to the lore of like their original animated thing.
Sure.
So if you would see, so Japanese market is very very intelligent because they make a anime something. Guess what? They make a video game about it. Now they got a lot of crossover. They make a video game about it. Guess what? They're gonna make an anime about it. Because fan service. They
Right.
get you with the fan service. And then the other genre that I didn't think I did like, but I didn't think I was gonna like it this much, is called Muso, or I don't even know how to say it specifically, Muso. Basically, it's Dynasty Warriors. I don't know if you know about Dynasty Warriors.
I love Dynasty. Lubu.
Lubu, my man.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Lubu.
Oh my
Dude.
God.
So that genre, I played Dynasty Warriors like 2 very casually, because back in the day it was like, I can't believe this game could play 1 versus like 100 people
I
on
played
the
Dynasty
screen.
Warriors
50.
3 a ton.
A ton. Yeah. And
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm so glad you
Dude.
said that. That's a great game.
dude, so that genre is called Muso, I think.
Okay.
And it's like 1 versus 1,000, things like that. But just like the Fire Emblem genre, it's evolution,
Mm-hmm.
How are we gonna sell more games? So basically, they get the Dynasty Warriors formula, and now they're making it. I'll get to that, but basically, Legend of Zelda. So they literally have a Legend of Zelda Musou game.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's what I'm telling you. You're missing out, man. I'm telling you, man. You're missing out. So they already made one, and they're literally gonna make Breath of the Wild, the new Switch game.
Yep.
It's like 10 out of 10, one of the best
It's
games of all time.
Amazing.
Yeah, so they're on November 28th or something, they're gonna make a second Legend of Zelda game in that world, but it's Musou. So you literally go as Link and just bust
Start tearing people up.
tearing people up.
Oh.
Yeah,
man.
you can play, like literally in the last one you play as Ganondorf, dual wielding 2 swords.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sick. So that's the good thing about that genre is like something that it's in a certain medium that you can't really fight,
Right.
Like something that's turn-based, well, if they put in that medium, now you could wreck, you could actually
Use them.
use them. It's looked down upon a little bit because it's repetitive. All you're doing
Sure.
is beating people up, and it's not the deepest Devil May Cry game, all this,
That's
that.
another great game too.
Don't even get me started, bro. But basically, it's like a diluted, more simpler action game that's easy to get into and easy to get out to, especially with the world that we live in today.
Right.
Like we have a lot of responsibilities here and that, and that's easy to pick up. I could not play that game for 3 years. I go back to a game, I don't have to start from the beginning. I just pick up and I keep leveling up the people that I have. It's very easy to get into. I can pause it, hang out with my girl, hang out with my family, come right back into it, get back into it. Not, all right, there's a raid at 9 p.m., you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to be on, you know, and that's the biggest con about the games as a service, man. It's very time consuming, and it's time sensitive.
Yes.
So it keeps you from playing other games, but if you really get into it, it's most my best friends, like the one that I was talking about, when I moved high schools, 2 games that I kind of like identify with, like my new friends, is the Smash, and then not so much WoW, but I know that I have my best friend, his family, they're all about WoW. They don't play they don't play anything, but they play WoW, and they play like, you know, games as a service,
right.
Overwatch.
Okay.
You know, back in the day, like they played a little bit. But yeah, man, those are kind of my two favorite genres, besides the AAA games that they're like more niche, but they've become like one of my favorite, if not like top 2. I'd argue, yeah, I'd say top 2.
But I think maybe what we'll do next episode is we'll talk about maybe some of the differences between, or what we see between maybe Xbox, PC, and PS4 or PS5, because I think that'll be important to talk about. And then maybe we'll even go into maybe like a top 10 games that we love.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's gonna be it for 12.1 of the sit down with my good friend Danny. That boy jacked up. Jacked up. And we will see you guys on the next episode of Sit Down. Later.
Deuce.
Yeah.